All right, I see we have Becky on the line with us from CDPHE. Brian Lambert, can you hear us and can we hear you? How about Sam? Just a reminder, if you have your phone on mute, you can take that off by pressing *6 on your keypad. We're not hearing anyone speak up just yet. All right. This is Meredith Koob from Telligence. If we haven't yet heard from you, I've heard quite a few beeps for folks joining us. Could you please speak up and let us know you're on the line?
Hi, Meredith. This is Sam Decker with Tri-County Health Department.
Hi, Sam.
Hi. Hey, Meredith. It's Becky.
Hi, Becky. All right. In the spirit of time, we're going to go ahead and get started. So thank you all for joining us this afternoon as we talk a little bit about social media efforts and the possibility of using social media to market your DS&ES program. I'm Meredith Koob, and I'm with Telligence, the Quality Innovation Network Quality Improvement Organization that's contracted with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services here in Colorado. Specifically, what brings me to these calls is we have a diabetes care task where Medicare has asked us to help our local states and communities bring diabetes self-management education to especially our underserved populations in the state. And that is what allows me to work very closely with CDPHE and Inca.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Inca DeCoo, and I work here at the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. And what brings me to these calls is similar to Meredith, is we have a CDC grant to support our accredited and recognized DS&ES programs throughout Colorado by supporting you all to increase utilization and access to your programs. And one way we do this is by hosting these sharing calls as an opportunity for you all to network and learn from each other. Because as we all know, diabetes education among Coloradans is the utilization of access to a DS&ES program is low, and so we're here to identify tools that may be helpful in increasing DS&ES utilization throughout the state.
Just a few quick housekeeping items. Those of you that have been with us are very familiar with these. You can place yourself on mute and also unmute yourself by using *6 on your keypad. Please don't place us on hold so we can avoid any hold music. When you have something to share, please state your name. We encourage depth in sharing, so step up and step back. Also, we have chat open, and actually I've posted a question in chat if you would all be willing to share that in chat if you're joining us by webinar this afternoon, but also feel free to pose any questions or comments, and we'll address what we have time for during our time together. And if we don't have time, we will address those after the meeting and follow-up. And then, as always, the recordings for these webinars will be made available. All right. So we want to hear from you, make sure that we've captured everyone that's on the line. If you could chat in your organization, the city or town you're calling from, and if your program is ADA recognized, AADE accredited, or neither. So I see Inca. And then do we have anyone that has joined us by phone only that's not on the webinar? All right. We have Susie Mariano with us this afternoon. She's one of our presenters from Northwest Colorado Health up in Steamboat. Thank you, Susie, for joining us. We also have Sam Decker with Tri-County Health Department with an ADA recognized program, and neither CDPHE or Telegens are recognized or accredited. We provide technical assistance to those programs throughout the state.
So today's call, we're going to learn from DSMS program staff on how they're using social media to market the DSMS programs. We have Northwest Susie, Director of Marketing, who's going to talk to us about how they're using social media to promote their programs. This morning, on this morning's call, we had Lucas Smith from Buena Vista Drug talk about how he was promoting his DSMS program. And then we're also going to just gather some input and information from you all on how you would like to stay connected outside of these sharing calls using social media as well. So for our polling question, do you want to read it, Mary?
Go ahead, Andrew. Go ahead, sorry.
So for our polling question today, we always like to gauge the polling question around the topic. And so, to what extent does your GSMS program use social media like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter to market your classes? 100% of class offerings are pushed out through multiple social media platforms. 100% are pushed out through at least one form of social media. Fairly consistently, less than about 100% pushed out through at least one form of social media. Less than 50% are pushed out through social media. Our organization has a social media site, but we don't use to market our class offerings. Our organization doesn't have a social media presence. Our classes aren't open to those outside of our organization. So Meredith is going to open up the poll on the right-hand side, select the best option, and be sure to hit submit, and then we'll share the results in about 20 seconds. Okay, so we don't have anyone on phone only, right, Meredith? But
not that I'm aware of.
So 2 of you said you pushed 100% are pushed out through at least one form of social media, and then 1 of you said less than 50% are pushed out through social media. Anyone did not get to do the polling? Would like to verbally announce? I've got 3 captured.
Hi, this is Sam. I apologize. I had someone come into my office.
No worries.
Taking care of something. So we have, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of reading through. We utilize Facebook, and all of our classes are pushed out because they do direct them back to our website where all of our classes are listed.
Okay, cool.
Does that kind of answer? Sorry, I'm kind of quickly reading through this. Okay.
We're just trying to get an idea if you're all using any social media to push out your classes.
Perfect. Thank you.
So we're going to have about 5 minutes. Susie's going to talk about how they're using social media to promote their DSMS program. We at CDPHE a few months ago were able to release a mini grant to our DSMS program where they could apply to get some funding to do some marketing for their DSMS, and Northwest Colorado Health was received some funds to do this work, so it was really exciting that we're able to support them and that this work. And so she's going to just kind of go over the logistics of how they're doing it, and kind of the outcome, some preliminary outcome data. They're just starting the ads, and so they don't have a lot of data to share, but maybe some feedback on what's happened so far.
Great, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
Great, okay. And I don't think I have control of the slides, right? So I'll just let you know when to.
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yep.
So the slides that's up on the screen right now, this is something that I wanted to point out as you're thinking about doing social media or any online marketing. We created this landing page so that we can, through the analytics, watch the traffic of, from our website side, we can watch the traffic as to how people are getting to this page. So we can see which efforts are producing the most traffic. And this campaign not only consists of social media, but we're also doing some newspaper advertising, some radio ads, and some digital ads as well. So we're able to see how people are finding us, and that's very helpful. I just wanted to point that out. Having a landing page for these types of campaigns is critical. And then also on this page, the phone number that we're giving out is actually the direct number of our diabetes educator versus going through our main phone line. So that's another way that we can measure traffic and gauge whether or not the campaign is increasing inquiries. Can go to the next slide. This is just an example of what our Facebook ad looks like. So the majority of our social media advertising is done on Facebook, and you can see on the left side that we're choosing an audience. In this case, we didn't narrow it down too far. We gave an age range of 24 to 65, and then we always do a geographic range within 25 miles of each of our main locations. We're very rural, so outside of 25 miles, there's not going to be much there. So we like to just keep that geographic area fenced. And then we did match a few interests. Like Facebook will allow you to say, serve this ad up to people who have an interest in awareness of diabetes or diabetes type 2. There's a few choices. There weren't a lot of choices in this case, but we did as much as we could. So that's kind of what our custom audience is. And then on the right side, you can see an example of what the ad looks like. One thing to note, and I don't know if you guys talked about this morning, is Facebook is very particular about wording in paid advertisements. So you have to be careful. It'll reject ads that say things like free, or do you have diabetes, which we use that creative in some of our other markets, or other platforms, but Facebook doesn't allow you to ask directly, do you have this disease? It's very interesting. So once you kind of get into Facebook advertising, you get a sense of what will pass and what will not. And if you submit your ads each time, and they will either approve them or decline them, and if they decline them, they typically tell you why or what you need to change. You have to start over again. So that was why the language in this was slightly adjusted from our other campaign materials. But then the Learn More button that you see there on the ad, you click through to that and it will go right to that landing page. So Facebook keeps analytics on who's trafficking to our site, and then we can also see the analytics on our website side. The initial analytics, I was just looking at them. Essentially what we've done with this ad is given it a budget of $200. And so we say, for 20 days, spend $10 a day, and then Facebook stays within that range. It's probably one of the most cost-effective marketing tools that we have because we are able to target to our area. We're able to target by interest, and we're able to target by age. And so we use Facebook advertising for almost everything that we do. And as a business page, a while back, Facebook decided that business pages wouldn't have as much organic reach as they originally did. So just because people like your page doesn't mean they're going to see your post. So we boost almost every post that we have at least a minimum of $10 per post to make sure that our audiences are seeing the messages that we're putting out there. So yeah, in the first couple days of this, I can see some very basic analytics in terms of 247 people have been reached so far. Most people are receiving this ad in their news feed on Facebook and on mobile devices. And then it gives me a little bit in terms of the people who are receiving it. 78% are women, 21% men. It's interesting, it's updating like as I'm sitting here. So it's, and it looks like the most popular age ranges that it's hitting is like 55 to 65. All people live in Colorado because we chose that geographic area. So that's a little bit on the Facebook ad, and then if you want to go to the next one. This is an example of, this is a little different than what we had planned to talk about today, but I just wanted to show this ad. So this is a digital ad that we contract with a digital company to put out, and the way that this works is that we have the advertisement has the same creative as our other materials, and then if you click through to it, it goes to that same landing page. But we're able to geofence, geo-target, and keyword optimize this. So this is, if you're out on the internet and you're in Steamboat Springs and you're looking up diabetes or certain keywords, and we went through probably about 25 keywords, hopefully this ad will get served up to you on your device. So you may not be on our website, you may not be looking up anything about us, but if you are out and you're looking up information on diabetes or diabetes-related topics, and you're in our geographic area, this would be served to you. When I say geofencing, we're talking about we fence the area up in Northwest Colorado, basically, because I don't want people in Denver seeing this. It's not really going to help them or us. So we make sure that it's only up here in this area. And then we do what's called dropping pins. So you actually can serve the ad to people in certain locations. So we have put pins on all of the primary care offices, all the hospitals, and all the pharmacies up here. So it's a list of probably 30 locations. So if someone's sitting in the doctor's office or sitting at the pharmacy, this ad can get served up to them as well. And so then the analytics that we get back on this are a lot more complex. We can see where people are finding this, or where it's being served the most, where people are clicking through, what keywords are performing the best, so we can optimize that list. So there's a lot of opportunity here, but it's significantly more expensive than social media. So social media is definitely our number one go-to source for advertising. And I'll stop there, so if there's questions.
I've got a question, actually. So when someone clicks through, do you have something that they can register for?
No, not on this. No, the landing page for this just has the direct phone number to our diabetes educator.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
And then so if someone's soliciting like your services, then you're, in order to receive the billing and all that jazz, you're going back through, if they've shown interest, you're attempting to get a referral from their physician first. Is that how you're doing it?
You know, I don't know the details of the clinical side. I apologize. I'm doing the marketing.
Okay.
So I don't know I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that question.
No problem. No problem. Usually you have to get the doctor's order before you can bill, is how I understand it. We're getting pretty close to doing this, but I'll jump off and let you keep going.
And John, I'm happy to connect you with Amy Knight, who is the diabetes educator for this program. And maybe she can answer some of those questions about ultimately, Susie does the marketing, but then when a person does get engaged and interested in CSNIS, what's that next step? What's that kind of handoff? Yeah, because I'm sure that they have systems in place to contact their primary care provider to get that referral.
Sure.
So at this point, we're going to just open it up to the group either to ask questions of Susie on what she's presented, or looking at this slide, just have some peer sharing on if you are using social media, what's working well for you. If you're not, what are some questions, curiosities, or hesitations you might have, and do you have specific needs around embarking on using social media for your DSMES marketing efforts? Susie, do you want to speak to? Oh, go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, perhaps someone else is feeling the same pinch, but we have for our hospital, which is now it's 25 beds, but it's 500 employees in 30 departments. We only have one Facebook page, and we've really tried from the wellness side of things, because we do a lot of prevention work as well as our diabetes work, to have our own account under the hospital, but that has not been successful. So there's so much competition for our one Facebook page through the hospital, and all has to go through our marketing, so it really slows down our communication. We haven't found it be like that on Instagram. We would love to have a YouTube channel, things like that, and it just hasn't worked for us. I don't know if anyone's found a way to get around that.
Susie, does Northwest have your own Facebook page?
We do, and there are a lot of different facets of our organization, and so we kind of struggle with a little bit of a similar thing, only I'm in a position of being able to deploy the marketing, so I'm on the opposite side of you, but I understand that, and we've definitely had requests from within our own organization to spin off different pages, different accounts, and we've really held firm to only having one managed Facebook account and one website and one Twitter account, just because of the limitations of our marketing staff. But I understand what you're saying, and I've seen that happen with like our hospital up here, UC Health. Definitely not as much day-to-day localized information because they have just so many different messages they're trying to put out. It's more broad messaging.
I think Susie had mentioned that I have kind of the same problem that was mentioned earlier, where it's great if we do get some outside people through Facebook, but then again I have to get that order from their doctor and chase that down, so that's a little difficult. Not impossible, but it's difficult at times.
I guess I should share too that we're also a federally qualified health center, so I would assume that a lot of the people who are seeing our promotions and marketing may also be served through our physicians here, so I'm wondering if that's some of the ease and connection that Amy has with our diabetes educators.
This is Sam, and kind of looking at this, and this is a little off topic, but I guess I kind of look at it one step further back, and potentially looking at the need for just the general education on the importance of receiving diabetes education within our community. I think of, we've done a great job on the importance of getting your yearly mammogram, and the reason behind that. I would love to see larger campaign efforts in regards to just the importance of getting your diabetes education. I feel like I sometimes see that a little bit of when someone declines, diabetes education, that importance of it, So I guess I'm looking at it a little bit different from a lens a little bit higher up than the engagement into the specific classes.
I like that, Sam. I like that idea, and that's something that, I know Roseanne's brought that up a lot as well on our calls of TSAs and just this, statewide message coming from all of our DSMES programs on getting people with diabetes into education programs, and so I appreciate you bringing that up on the call again and just reiterating that and trying to come up with ways in the next few years of how we can support that from a state perspective. And so we're piloting some NDPP messaging with 9 counties, and so I'm hoping there's some lessons learned from that. You know, they're paving that way as well, and so we'll see how what data we get from those campaigns for NDPP.
Great, thank you.
Should we just quickly, speaking of Facebook, I just want to leave a little bit of time just to talk about a closed Facebook group for diabetes educators. So something that Meredith and I have, been talking for a while now is really how do we keep the conversation going? These calls are short, and we finally get into discussion, and then all of a sudden it's the top of the hour or it's 12:30. And so how do we stay connected as a group outside these calls and outside the conference? And so historically, CDPHE, we have our one Facebook page, and a few people operate that Facebook page. But just because Facebook is now the way a lot of us get our communication, they were open to the idea that CDPHE could start a closed Facebook group for diabetes educators in Colorado. And so here's some suggested titles that I have come up with, and I was just curious kind of which, I see a typo there, which ones seem the most of interest to you, or if you have others in mind. I can put this in the call notes if you kind of just want to think about this, because my next question to you all, if you want to think about, is what kind of information would you like to see in a closed Facebook group? What kind of updates, what kind of posts, and how can we really utilize that space to stay connected with each other? So in 15 seconds, does any one of these jump out at you that you like as a title for this group?
I like the second one, Colorado Diabetes Educators Network.
The second one, John?
I was going to take the second one, too.
Yeah, second one.
And so at the conference, June 7th, this is a nice transition to that slide. So June 7th, you all know about the conference. I hope you can attend. It's free, and lodging and mileage reimbursement for those traveling over 70 miles. 6 free CEs pending right now. Fingers crossed, I will hopefully hear by the end of the week, early next week, from AADE and CDR, which is the Commission of Dietetic Registration for RDs. We now have it's a different process, but that's behind the scenes. So really hope to see you there. If you go to the website, you will see the agenda and the speakers and kind of the theme of the conference. So it's really just trying to be innovative and build partnerships outside of our traditional partners. So really thinking about dentists, audiologists, working with nonprofit organizations, other organizations that see people with diabetes, and what kind of partnerships you can develop. So hope to see you there. To wrap up the call, Meredith?
So that all being said, that will be the agenda for our next set of calls in June, is to have sharing and feedback coming out of the June conference. So plan on that on June 19th, either 8:30 or noon, as usual. So as a reminder of our resources, I want to specifically call out number 2, Telegen's free one-on-one technical assistance with Marianne Todorowicz will end on July 17th of this year. So if you have a need for any technical assistance, please let me know as soon as possible, because we're rounding that offering out. always keep this up for reference. We have the CDPHE website for DSMES. We also have the CDC DSMES toolkit, which is fairly new, that you can use as a reference, and then have also included Telegen's website here. As always, we would like to hear your feedback on the call. Let us know what we're doing well, what you would like to see go better. Going to open that evaluation if you wouldn't mind taking a minute to give us your feedback before you leave. And you know where to find Inka and I if you have any questions or comments in the meantime. Susie, really want to thank you for spending your time presenting with us this afternoon and the information you shared. We truly appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
The leader has disconnected. The conference will be terminated in 5 minutes.